Building a professional sounding microphone setup from your bedroom can feel like a daunting task. It can also take up a lot of space on your desk. So to solve those two problems, Elgato have come up with a raft of recent products aimed at making you sound great from your bedroom, whether you're working from home or creating content. They've sent a lot of those products over to me for review today, so let's dive straight into the microphone. For reference, I record these videos on a Rode shotgun mic, which is plugged directly into my camera, and that's about 12 inches away from my mouth. So this is what the Elgato Wave XD sounds like, and one of the misconceptions about dynamic mics like this is that they're automatically going to sound better than a compressor mic like the Elgato Wave 3, but that's not really the case. Actually, they're just built for different purposes. And one thing you'll notice about this microphone is that it's only really picking up from the very top of the microphone here. And that means that it's going to do really well at noise reduction and cutting out that environmental influences on my microphone. If you see any trains going past here, then maybe you'll be able to see how that works in practice. But the Wave 3, for example, is going to be picking up from multiple points around the microphone. And that means that we'll be able to give a slightly broader spectrum in terms of my voice, but it's going to have a lot more noise in the background, and you will suffer from echo quite a lot in terms of using those condenser mics. With a dynamic mic like this one, it's going to have that podcast radio style feel to it, which is definitely something which fits certain types of content better than others. One really cool thing is that it's got a built-in pop filter, so you could be the judge of how well it's actually working through this vocal track, but I really like it. And if you do want to play around with the sound profile of this microphone, then you can add in plugins from the Elgato marketplace. You can get some free ones like a built-in compressor, a noise reduction and a EQ balancer. And there is also a paid reverb effect, which is about £11 in the UK. I think that's more aimed at musicians, people like that, rather than someone who just wants to use a microphone for work or streaming. But the idea is that other companies could come along and create plugins which really enhance your microphone experience. There are a lot of free plugins built in if you're using an Apple device, so that's also really cool to see. And the Wavelink software, there is a little bit of a learning curve, but I would really advise you to kind of step into it, because that's kind of the point of using a microphone like this and really tweaking it to exactly how you want to use it. The vast majority of us recording from home don't have perfectly soundproofed environments, so reducing the amount of room noise that gets picked up by your microphone is going to be a big plus. Arguably, the best thing you can do to improve your audio quality though is to simply get the microphone as close as possible to the audio source. This is the Elgato Wave Mic Arm Pro, and it can hold up to 3 kilograms, so let's not just limit this to microphones. You could also put a camera and even an Elgato Pronto on here. Now this is a very expensive option. It comes in around £179 or dollars if you want to pay that amount, but what you are getting is a very premium experience. Because the arm is supported by gas spring suspension, you can maneuver it into exactly the right position without having to fiddle about with knobs. And it's also deadly silent, so it's not going to interrupt the audio track if you just need to readjust the position of your microphone. Your setup is going to look really clean when you're using this mic arm. It comes with 2 magnetic plates which snap into position and act as cable management. And it comes with these magnetic joint plates which Elgato will allow you to customize in the future, which can just add that nice pop of personalization to your setup. As someone who's been contending with a microphone placed on my desk for a long time, I've often found that it got in the way of my keyboard when I was in meetings and never could really get it at the right height for my voice. So having my mic on an arm like this that can easily stow away when I'm not using it and still won't even get in the way if I want to type during a meeting, that's pretty cool to me. Another device that's going to save you a lot of desk space is the XLR dock, which you can now plug into the back of the Stream Deck Plus. If you're recording with a dynamic mic, you will need some kind of audio mixer because it's going to be picking up in analog and you need something that's going to convert that signal to a digital format. The XLR dock is going to handle all of that for you. It's even got a headphone jack so you can monitor the audio as you're recording. And the Stream Deck is going to give you all of the controls to mix and tweak that audio in real time. If you're new to the Stream Deck, it's essentially a programmable macro pad that can carry out lots of different functions on your computer. You have 8 main face buttons that you can program as you like, as well as a swipeable touchscreen which will allow you to switch between profiles. I generally have different ones for my audio mixing, my productivity setup across Google Docs and Google Sheets, and different time zones so I can keep track of colleagues who are working in different parts of the world. But the real game changer for people who are operating their audio through the Stream Deck Plus is those 4 knob controls at the bottom. You can use them to dial up the volume or tweak the lighting in your room, and you can also press down on them to reveal an additional function, like for example, going onto mute. This Stream Deck also sits quite a bit taller than some of the other models, which can actually be a lot more comfortable to use compared to something like the Stream Deck Neo. But the fact that Elgato have combined an audio mixer with the Stream Deck in this way is really impressive to me, and it definitely just brings this whole setup to life. It's worth saying that you definitely don't need to use an Elgato microphone for all of this to work. At £99 or dollars, I do think that the microphone itself comes in at a good price point, and you can always upgrade it to something much more professional if you ever need to in the future. £179 or dollars for a mic arm is pretty expensive. You also have an XLR cable to worry about, and you need to connect it to a mixer and maybe even the Stream Deck Plus. So when you actually bundle all of this together, it does get pretty expensive. But if you do consider this a plug and play package which is really easy to set up and get moving with a professional sounding audio setup, then I actually think that's pretty cool. And one thing to note is that Elgato products often go on sale around times like Black Friday, so if you just have a bit of patience and wait for those price drops, then you can definitely pick them up at a cheaper price than that. I would also say that the audio quality you're going to get out of the mic is not necessarily any better than something like the Elgato Wave 3, which you can just pick up as a standalone microphone and not have to worry about any of the rest. For the vast majority of people, the Elgato Wave 3 or the Elgato Wave Neo are going to be much better options, and I actually reviewed those here, so feel free to check that video out. But thanks so much for watching this one, and I'll see you in a bit.